Alright, hey guys, Cam here. I'm here with Mulage and Guardian, and we're just going to be making a little dodging tutorial. I'm anticipating it'll take about, the video will end up being about 20 minutes. Might be longer, might be less, we'll see how it goes. The things we want to talk about is just, you know, sort of basic weapon dodging, and then maybe a bit more advanced stuff in terms of thinking about maybe things that you should be thinking about whilst you're dodging, not just what guns they have, you know? It's because that's not the only important thing. There's a lot of things that come into it. Other things like how much health you have, how much health they have, the guns that you know they have and don't have. What else is there? Walls that are around. That's a big important thing. You know, things that you can get in the way of, things that get in the way of you. Just a lot of things. So that's what we'll be going through. This is obviously the second video in the series. So yeah, I'm going to be using Mulage as my puppet. And we'll see how it goes. So basically we'll start off with the basics. As everyone knows, the main guns, rockets, rail and LG. So the three guns we'll be focused on. Obviously I'll talk a little bit about the others because there is a little thing to know, a little bit to know about them, but they're not as important. So as we know, I'll start off with the rocket launcher. The rockets are for close range, obviously. Most of the time, unless you're fucking Cypher or something, you think you can hit middies from the other side of the other side of the map, which you probably fucking can, the cunt's that good. Anyway, so when you're thinking about dodging with rockets is obviously the key to rocket firing is timing. If you're firing at the right times, you hit a lot more rockets than if you're firing at the wrong times. So to start off with, you don't want to be shooting, like, you know, straight away. If you're shooting straight away as soon as you can, a lot of the time, not only are you going to miss all your rockets, they're going to hit theirs because they're going to be able to time their rockets a lot better. So in terms of timing, what I mean is, Mulage, can you kill me? And then we'll come back to the middle. Come down here. So in terms of timing, what I mean is, you want to be like, you know, moving forward, moving back, depends, because obviously rockets are a lot harder to hit when you're moving backwards. So basically the idea behind my sort of thinking about rocket dodging in a straightforward, you know, open fight, taking nothing else into consideration, is you want to be moving backwards when they're about to fire and moving forwards when you're about to fire, just so you can get as close as possible when you want to fire, and when they want to fire, you're as far away as possible, so it's a lot harder for them to hit. And even if they do hit, the splash isn't going to be as much because it'll be harder for them to get it right next to you. So basically, if Mulage, you want to have a little fight, when this grenade goes off, and see how it goes. Ready, set, go. So you know, you want to be moving backwards when he's going to fire, and then when you want to fire, move forwards.
Yeah.
I didn't really show it very well, but you sort of understand what I mean. So that's just a sort of basic, you know, idea behind the way I like to rocket dodge. A lot of the time you can move backwards, and then when they actually do fire a rocket, you can jump over them into the next one. The reason you want to do that is because, especially if you move backwards, then they're going to sort of assume you're going to keep moving backwards, and then if you jump forwards, a lot of the time you actually jump over their rocket, and not only will you jump over their rocket, you actually get really close to them as well. You hit him with an easy rocket. So if you want to just try that when this grenade goes off, I'll move backwards straight away, and you try and get me. Next grenade. So when the grenade goes off, I'll start moving backwards, and then you try and get me with rockets.
Okay.
So you want to move backwards, and then obviously he hit me with a good one to start with, which actually knocked me back a fair bit. But you sort of understand, it's a lot harder for him to hit me with that. And even then, I still managed to jump over his second rocket, you know, and then get close. If I had more health, maybe I would have been able to deal a little more damage. So that's all I'll go through for rockets at the moment. Obviously, that's rockets versus rockets. Obviously, rockets versus LG. And I switched to LG, Mulage. So when the grenade goes off, we'll fight. So I might die here, we'll know.
I'm against the wall.
Exactly. I'll get to that in a minute. So, you know, obviously with rockets is close range, LG's medium range, so you want to get as close as possible you can. Like Mulage pointed out though, there is a wall behind him. That's really important, especially when you're using rockets. When you're using LG, you really don't want to get caught up against the wall with someone who's using rockets. A lot of people generally don't think about that. They only think about the ranges. So, you know, the range of the LG compared to the range of the rockets. It's actually really important. LG is going to be a lot better from here, this point of view, shooting at someone using rockets coming towards you, if the wall is further away. If the wall is really far away, like back there, it's okay, because when they hit you with the rocket, they're going to knock you really far away, and then you're still going to be able to jam pretty good. Whereas if it's the other way around, and he's pushing up against this wall, once he hits you with the rocket, you're going to get splattered against the wall, and then he's just going to move in right next to you and smash you. So, you know, you have to think about a lot of those sort of things when you're actually having the fight. Because if you don't, then the weapon choice sort of is dictated not only by the sort of space in their surroundings, but also by the walls and stuff that's right in front of you or right behind you. So that's really important. A lot of the time, you know, when Mulich is actually using LG against the wall, it's really easy to hit with rockets as well because, you know, they can only move left or right. So you sort of, I guess, not guess a little bit, not guess, but you know, you sort of anticipate which way he's going to move, left or right, based on his dodging. It's a lot easier to do that if you can't actually move backwards or forwards. Well, you can move forwards, but it's not really going to work out because you're going to be right there with rockets anyway. So yeah, that's sort of the strategy when you're dodging, using rocket. I'm obviously talking using rocket launcher against rockets, and then using rockets against LG. Against Rail, you know, you don't really want to, you know, a lot of the time, either it's, you know, pretty binary, either it's a really good idea to use rockets and they're fucked if they have rail out, or it's a really bad idea to use rockets and you're fucked if you have rockets out against rail. That's mainly based on, sorry about my language, that's mainly based on, you know, distance away from them. There are some situations where you can be close and they still can't hit you if you're using rail, but that's, you know, more important. That's not as important as distance. So obviously, you don't want to be using rockets too much, except for anything but spam. If they're on the other side of the map, like over there using rail, you're just going to get hit a lot. So I think dodging versus rail is pretty much actually the same, no matter what gun you're sort of fighting against. You know, you always want to. Depends, I guess, on their distance a bit, but in general, you want to always have something to be behind. So by the way, I'm just moving on to rail, dodging whilst using rail now. So obviously you want to think about what guns they have. If they have all the three guns, then you know it's a lot harder to dodge because you know they can spam you out and then switch to LG, a little bit of damage, swap to rail, hit you. But in general, dodging most rail fights are actually rail against rail. I find, especially in Clan Arena. So you know you always want to have something to hide behind. Because if the other guy doesn't have something to hide behind, then you can hit a lot more of him than he can hit you, and also he has no time to spend, you know, like safe. You know, you can if I'm standing here and he's got rail only from the other side, he can't actually hit me. So you know, you would fire your rail. Obviously, it's basic. You'd fire your rail, get behind the wall, and then go for your next one. Now, a big mistake of a lot of players is that they actually stay behind the wall the whole time the rail is reloading, and then they come out back when the rail is reloaded. I think that's a big mistake of a lot of players because for the guy on the other side, you know, it's if he's like reasonably experienced, he knows the timing of the railgun shot. So if you're coming out when the rail's ready next to fire, then he knows when you're going to come out. It's a lot easier for him to hit a shot when you're peeking. So generally, what I like to do if I'm trying to dodge against someone who's trying to rail me, especially in this sort of situation, which happens a lot in Clan Arena, obviously, then what I'll do is I'll fire my rail. If I miss, and then you know it doesn't matter, and then whilst it's reloading, I'll keep peeking out. Especially that works really well if the times of the reload are not the same. Like if you're not reloading it's sort of exactly or the similar time. So usually you know when they're going to reload. So I generally like to peek just before they reload because then they're going to be a little twitchy when they come out to peek. They're going to see you. They're going to fire really quickly, and they're most likely going to miss. Especially if you're already back inside. Whereas if you don't actually peek, you don't give yourself a chance for them to miss. So the good thing about when they miss, you know, is you actually have a lot of time to line up your own shot after it's provided you haven't actually fired yet. So like I was saying, kill me Mulich.
Why don't you just wait longer?
Yeah, you can wait longer as well, but I find they don't fire if you wait longer, so then when you actually do peek out, there's no chance that they've already missed, whereas a lot of the time, you know, yeah, I'll kill you as well so you have full health. Yeah, as well, that's what Guardian just said is right. When you peek, you actually gain a lot of info. You can also get the info sort of by spamming rockets. You can see when they're spamming rockets as well, but if we're talking just rail versus rail, then I like to peek a lot. So yeah, again, when this grenade goes off, we'll start fighting with rail versus rail. So you know, I missed, so I'm just going to keep peeking just to see where he is, and then see, he missed again. I got hit, it's okay though. So you still want to just keep peeking. You don't have to fire every time you peek, but you know, obviously I've missed every shot, but that doesn't matter. You still get the idea of how I'm trying to dodge. So you want to peek. You don't want to just come out, like as you can see that I'm not just coming out when I'm about to fire, because that's a mistake I think. So obviously rail versus rail in this spot can be hard, especially if they're dodging properly. So you know, Another thing to note is that when you know a lot of guys generally aim by once you come out so far, um, like if you come out this far from this pillar, you come out this far. A lot of the guys, if they haven't actually fired straight away, you can guarantee that the crosshair is lined up in between you and this pillar somewhere because they're waiting for you to move backwards so they can just sort of time the shot. So a lot of the time when you see someone sort of not firing at you when you move over here, just keep moving the other direction from the way they're most likely to expect you to fire from. So for example, if I was out here and I was dodging and Mulich, I got to about here and Mulich hadn't fired yet, I know that he was waiting for me to move back inside here and hit an easy shot. So a lot of the time you can just move the other way or even stand still because he won't fire. And when he does fire, it'll be a flick shot or sort of he'll have to move his crosshair a little bit. So it'll be a lot harder for him to hit the shot. So just little things like that, you know, a lot of guys might not think about stuff like that, but it's actually quite important because, you know, anything that makes it harder for them to hit the shot is just, well, that's the idea behind, you know, dodging. So obviously when you add rockets into the mix as well, a lot of the better players will have really good spam, so you can't really sit behind the pillars like this because they'll hit you with a lot of shots, you know. They'll hit you with a spam and they'll spam to the other side, you'll peek out and they'll hit you and knock you up in the air, then you get hit by an easy shot. So basically, like I said with that peeking before as well, like Guardian also mentioned, when you're peeking like this, and we're talking just a 1v1 fight, not Clan Arena where there's multiple guys, one spamming and one fighting morale, because that's not as important because it's a lot harder to dodge for that sort of scenario. What I'm saying is, you know, when it's just 1v1, peeking out consistently is also good because you see, you hear when they stop weapons, but you also see where the rockets are coming from, and obviously they can only fire one rocket every like second or whatever the timing is, so you can always see the rockets. So just shit like that, you always want to be timing. If you're just sitting here behind this pillar, yeah, you can see if they've changed position, although you can generally hear that if they're using rail. But, you know, yeah, that's what you sort of want to be peeking for, not only to make it harder for them to hit their shot, but also you gain more information about the fight. So then we'll move on to the basic dodging of LG. Dodging whilst using LG rather. So against rockets, like I said before, it's the same. You don't want to get caught up against the wall. You want to keep moving backwards where possible. But again, like I said before with rockets, you can move backwards to an extent and then jump forwards. That's a really deadly move, especially with lightning gun. Especially when you're backed into a corner as well, because you don't really have much choice as well, so that's even better. So, Mulich, if you want to use rockets...
Jumping. Okay, yeah.
If you want to use rockets, start from about here. I'll start from about here. So, obviously you can see against... you start here, I'll start from about here. So when the grenade goes off... So as you can see, you want to get as far away as possible. I mean, he didn't have much health then, but... you know, sort of get the idea. If you keep moving backwards, especially in a big open room like this, there's no chance he's going to be able to get you. Even if he hits you with a big rocket that sort of pops you up, you're still going to hit him with a lot of LG. And even if it's perfect rockets, he'll still possibly die. He might get you 1 in, you know, 10, but the idea is to, you know, maximize your chances of getting the frag. So again, we'll reverse the roles now. Now I'll start against this wall using LG and use rockets Mulich. So there's not much chance for me here. But we'll see how it goes. Mulich is pretty shit, so...
Yeah, get him.
Ready, set, go. If Mulich was good, then, you know, I would have died, so...
Yeah.
Alright, so come back. I'll use the rockets now against your LG. I'll probably die now that I've said that, but kill me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably die now, so... yeah, probably I deserve that, but anyway, when the grenade goes off.
Oh, false starts. Oops, my bad.
So, you know, he got away, but that's, he actually got around me. You see, that's good dodging by Mulich. You know, he's aware of the fact that, you know, you can't get caught up against the wall, and he's moved to the outside around here. So that's actually a big thing, because, you know, with LG, you definitely want to get, if you're moving around them, it's much easier. Rule number 1 of dodging, actually, against rockets, when you're using lightning gun, is do not ever cross where you think their crosshair is, because if you do, then they're just going to fire, you know? So Mulich did the right thing. You see where my crosshair is now, he's to the left of it. So if Mulich can obviously see that, because if you look at where my player model is looking from his point of view, he can see that where I'm looking, and he knows that he's on the left. So the best idea for using LG is to continually dodge to the left, because if he doesn't cross my crosshair, there's no easy rocket for me. Either I'm going to have to fire prematurely, you know, not when I'd like to ideally fire, based on the timing of when you'd ideally want to fire to make sure you hit the rocket. Because you have to fire a bit earlier, because he's hitting you with a lot of LG. You can see that he's moving further away from you on this side. Come back, Mulich, and move left like that. You can see that he's moving further away from you. You want to fire, you have to fire straight away, and it's going to be a flick rocket. It's a lot harder to hit that sort of rocket than what it is to hit, a rocket where. So, Mules, just move like this when you cross my crosshair. Keep crossing my crosshair and use LG.
Sorry, what? Crossing your crosshair? Okay.
Yeah, so see how my crosshair's here. Keep moving across it.
okay.
Yeah. So, you ready?
I've only got 90 health, by the way.
Kill you there. Alright, start again.
But, okay, if they're gonna flick, do you change direction or you just don't care?
When you flick rocket, you mean?
No, when they're gonna flick, should I change or just keep going?
When they're gonna flick, just keep going. A lot of the time, you can change, but at the same time, again, you run the risk of them actually not firing or actually firing behind you. Because when you're moving around like this, they might underpredict, and then your rocket's actually going to knock you further away this way, and you're going to get even more damage. So coming back, it can work if you anticipate they're going to fire like further than what you actually end up getting. For example, if you're move that way. So if I fire there, that was a pretty poor rocket actually, but if it had landed a bit closer towards you, it would have popped you up straight in there, and then I can move in and push you against the wall. Shit like that.
Mm.
So generally, if they're missing their rockets, or if I've actually got around them like that, you just keep moving around, because it's unlikely that they're going to be able to deal, especially in clan arena sense. This is why HP is really important, especially in duel. In clan arena, obviously they always have usually 300 health or something, so LG, if you don't get them with good rockets initially, you're usually going to die. So that's why that dodge that Mulich did around here, if you actually manage to get away from, especially their rocket close range, you're usually going to kill them. So like I was saying, Mulich crossed my crosshair from there using LG.
Whoa.
So make sure,
okay.
keep crossing my. So basically, you'll be dodging like this.
Yeah. I can't even cross.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I hit actually once I'd popped him up, I actually hit 4 rockets, but a lot of the time I hit a lot better rockets than that, especially because he's against the wall as well. And he still died, and he's still hitting no LG because he's like getting bounced around in front of me. A lot of guys are not going to hit you with much LG when they're getting bounced around like that. So that's why what Mulish did the first time around was much more beneficial. How he moved away from my crosshair. So you got to be reading which sort of direction your opponent's looking, because if you're not, then it's much harder to hit. So onto LG versus LG. It's probably the least sort of skillful dodging, I think. It's like more to do with your LG firing accuracy rather than your actual dodging. Sure, there is guys who dodge better than others, but I think, a lot of the time you can only move so quick, and the theory is only so good. So, here, kill me. So basically when you're dodging LG versus LG, this is where my LG is pretty shit actually, but well, it's okay, it's not great, could be better. I like to sort of stagger myself, not do the same. Some guys dodge just like that, some guys dodge just like that. I don't like either of them. I like to, sort of mix it up a little bit, maybe add in a crouch or two just to put them off, a jump and a crouch even if you're weak, just shit like that. You always want to, mix it up just to make it harder for them to anticipate which way you're going to go. Obviously with LG, like I said, it's more important to be able to hit high accuracy, but if you're not hitting high accuracy, then, then you're not going to win no matter how good the dodging is usually, unless the LG is weak also. So we'll have an LG fight. I mean, I'll show you what I'm trying to do. I'll just sort of stagger my dodging as much as I can. I'll probably lose because I'm shit at this, but... So yeah, I actually bashed him because he's shit, but... False start, yeah.
Wait for the gun.
Yeah, I kill me. So, as you can see, I tried to stagger my dodging a lot. One of the little tricks you can do as well, I like to call it getting into their side. I mean, it's a bit weird, but you can actually get into their side, especially if they're up against the wall. So move up against the wall, Milich. Go again. And I'll try and get into his side. I'll show you what I mean. So you see how I got into his side to begin with? I mean, it's hard to explain sort of what that means, but if there's a wall there and he's up against the wall, you can a lot of the time get into his side, and he's going to stay against the wall. And obviously when you're shooting against the wall, and he's against the wall as well, you can actually shoot like, not even close to, you can shoot on this side of his body, like just aim for that side of his body, and whichever way he moves, he's taking a lot of damage because obviously he can't move any more further into the wall, so he's going to be taking damage, and if he does move away from the wall a little bit, he's going to be taking damage as well, and you'll be able to follow him a lot easier, rather than if you're aiming on this side of the wall and he moved away from the wall, instantly you start missing. And also when you get into their side like that, a lot of their time, you know, you can arc them up really good. Arc them up is what me and Fraser call, you know, hit a really good burst of lightning gun. So that's a good strategy for using LG versus LG. I like to get into people's sides because not only do they hit hard accuracy, because they've got to really adjust their crosshair, especially if they were sort of aiming like this, and all of a sudden you're right next to them, they've got to really adjust their crosshair a lot, so it's hard. That's pretty much all there is to LG versus LG, except for position-wise. You know, when you're like a lot. What's going on? Hold on, my mate's just turned up. Long time. Yeah, good. I just teaching some moves and shit. Yeah, I know. Fucking I'm mad, can't I? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll see you later. Yeah, after. Yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to LG versus LG in terms of raw dodging. Obviously, positional wise, a lot of the time, you know, when you hit that, I like to be below them a lot more than above them because when you're above them, sometimes you know you peak and then they hit that LG that's sort of like it's like shit. They've just like blown you backwards because it's like a huge burst and it's in your eyes and like it knocks you backwards. That can't happen when you're down here. Plus, when you peek over, generally a lot of players tend to peek too far, so it lets you see the whole body. And then from down here, you can only see like half of them, or it's hard for you to peek over without taking any damage. So that's.
Oh, where's the camera?
What?
The camera.
What do you mean?
In a hitbox.
Oh, I think it's in your head, eh?
Like above your head or in your head?
I think it's in your eyes. I'm not certain though. But so like I said, a lot of the time Mulich can deal a lot more damage because I can only see half of him, and he can probably see 3/4 of me from where he is now. So he can probably deal a lot more damage. How much can you see of me?
Like your arms up. Oh, now I can see your body.
Oh, well, either way, it's like I can't see much of him either. So, especially with the angle, I can't really get him pushback because obviously a bit of physics. The pushback that I'm going to get him is going to be pushing him into the ground. So, the pushback he's going to get me, he's sort of pushing me upwards into the air. So he's going to be able to get a lot more pushback on me than I'm going to be able to get on him as well. So that's going to affect it as well. So generally, when you're fighting with LG, you want to be above. There's some situations where it's beneficial to be below, especially when the angle is really high. Maybe from this angle here, it's beneficial. No, when the angle is really low, maybe from this sort of position, it's better to be below. Yeah, or mega health ledge where you're sort of pinned up like here. It's much better to be much more beneficial to be from below. You're just going to get owned when you're above. But maybe a position like here where the angle is sort of not that great, it's probably better to be, you know, maybe above. It doesn't really make much difference. So that's sort of all for that. LG versus Rail, and you know, Rockets versus Rail, like I said, they sort of do themselves. The guy can't do too much if he's got Rail out next to you, so you just sort of bounce him around pretty easily. He's never going to hit you. He's got swap guns basically. So that's all there is for that. In terms of, I'll go on to shotgun, a little bit about shotgun. Again, similar to Rockets, I think. But there's a little difference in the fact that you can actually dodge forward, I find, and make them miss a lot. So, you know, I like to, when you're using shotgun, again, move backwards when, this is shotgun versus shotgun, obviously. Move backwards when you're firing, when they're firing, move forwards when you're firing. So, again, we'll go.
Oh, I got just come.
Yeah. Need all the health you can get, mate.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh.
My shotty is fucking renowned for being horrible, though, so...
What?
So, yeah, you see, so,
yeah, that was distance. That was totally just distance.
my shotgun is shit, but also one thing to note is that when I actually had the advantage, I knew I had the advantage in terms of health. I move backwards as far as I can, just so that you make it so that he can't hit a big blast to even it up while you miss. You just keep making it so it's like maybe 15 damage per shot. You can't, and you know you've got like 50 health more. You can't actually die. But if you notice during that fight, I moved back for a start, and then I tried to move in. But when I tried to move in, I actually tried to get right next to him. I find a good strategy with shotgun is to move right next to him and duck. So if you know they're about to fire, right next to him and duck. You'll be absolutely amazed at how many people miss you completely every time you do that. They miss you completely. And then you can move backwards and do it again once they're about to fire. Especially works, like I said, health comes into this sort of shit. I haven't really explained yet, but for shotgun, health is really important. If you actually have not much health, the best thing is to move in next to them because it's the only chance you have of living. Because if you move far away, they're just going to hit it like even a noob could hit you with anything. Whereas if you have like maybe 20 health and they're using shotgun, the best bet is to move right next to them and try and duck next to them because they miss a lot. so I'll try that dodging. I won't fire this time, Village, but ready? So I'll try and dodge. You're shotty. So when he's just about to fire, you either move backwards or like you duck around.
Oh.
So it might be different with someone who had good shotty, but you know. I'll do that again. Obviously, it's a bit kind of difficult because he sort of he knows what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I was trying to flick shots. Just
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, it makes it so you have to flick shot, and that's obviously a lot harder than sort of just smoothly moving onto them from a medium sort of this sort of range. This sort of range is where shotty's ideal.
Should I be pretending to dodge as well?
Ah, why not? It's normal. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, let's go.
All right, ready, set, go. So he got me with a good one there, but again, I didn't mention before, you don't want to dodge, you don't want to duck down in front of their crosshair, so look at me. You try it now, Village, and duck in front of me. Yeah, like that's exactly what you don't want to do, because obviously even the noob who shoots like straight is still going to hit you. When you're ducking, you want to move to their right or the left. So like this sort of thing is what you want to do. Because, you know, they're basically going to have to go like this. And that's hard even if you know they're going to do it. So that's how I generally like to dodge shotty. It's really effective. If you haven't sort of tried it before, you should give it a try because it works really well. Especially with LG as well. You can do it when they're using shotty. You do it with all the guns. Again, getting in their side with a shotty is risky because you know a lot of the time they're just going to blow you away with a shotgun to the side. I like to just dodge backwards when they're using shotty, and you've got LG. In fact, I like to dodge backwards, except for if they're using rail against everything with LG. Even when against LG versus LG, a lot of the time I like to dodge backwards because it gives you the control over the range of the weapon. If you're dodging forward, then it's up to them where they can swap to rockets or something. Whereas if you're dodging backwards, then it's up to you when you want to swap to rail or not. If you're the one dodging backwards, if they're coming towards you, you can keep using LG if you want, or if you get far enough away, you can swap to rail. Whereas if you're dodging backwards, like I generally like to dodge backwards when I'm using LG, you can either stay within range if you feel you're winning the fight, you can move out of range if you feel you're losing it. Whereas when you're right next to them, if you feel like you're losing it, there's not much you can do except for swap to rockets and try and hit a rocket, which is obviously quite hard if they're hitting good LG. So that's why I generally like to do LG versus LG. Actually, we've been going for quite a while now. I haven't got into any advanced shit, so maybe that would have to be for number 3 Guardian. Sound good? Yeah, actually this has turned out quite good, I think. Is it sort of similar to what you guys already did, or is it a little bit differently? A little bit more. I got plasma and... so with... okay, a little more, a little bit more
bonus.
Depth. What I was planning to do, like I said before, was, you know, even further depth, like more situational sort of stuff. I guess we can do that in the next video. Sort of extra content, you know. Yeah. So that'll be good, because what I'll talk about... Okay, well, I'll just wrap it up then. I'll just wrap it up. So next time, like I said, I hope you guys liked it. I can use Mulage as my puppet next time. Next time we'll be talking about more situational dodging, like maybe, for just a quick example, how I would like to dodge against around this sort of pillar here. Something like that, or you know, how I'd like to dodge if my opponent had this much health, or if my opponent had this much health. I didn't talk about health too much, except for with the shotgun, which I was planning on doing, but we sort of went for a lot longer than what I anticipated. With the plasma gun, I guess the dodging is sort of like rockets mixed with LG. You know, you don't really use plasma that much against plasma. It's more for spam in Quake Live because it's a bit risky to use against anything unless you're using it against LG on LAN. Machine gun, again, it's the same dodging as basically LG. And rocket grenades, you don't really use to dodge too much. If you got grenades out and you got your pants down, then you better start hitting some grenades. Don't worry about too much about dodging. So I'll wrap it up. Thanks to Mulage for being my puppet and being shit enough for me to show how good dodging can work if you do it. Obviously dodging doesn't work the same against everyone. Some guys anticipate you to dodge one way. Most newbies don't. If you're dodging, like moving around, like I said, moving around their crosshair, most newbies are never going to hit you with rockets no matter how many they fire. So that's really important. So to summarise, yeah, just don't get caught up against the wall when you're using LG. Try not to try to get away. Try to catch someone up against the wall when you're using rockets. try to, you know, peek around when you're using LG. Don't always, rail. Don't always just sort of stand there, you know, behind a pillar and then come out only with the fire, because it's going to hit you most of the time. They know when you're going to come out. That's about it. So thanks to everyone for watching. I don't know how many viewers we'll get, but we'll end up doing the third video anyway. I don't know how soon that'll be. Probably pretty soon. Depends on Guardian's fee, really, because I've got a lot of spare time at the moment. So, any questions, either leave on the YouTube video for SGE, my Facebook account, fucking wherever, I'll answer them. Yeah, thanks. Hope you guys liked it.